Okay, so we have another early morning bed talk. I'll tell you, this won't be a thing. This is so uncomfortable. Like, god damn. It is like so awkward to have this thing because it's got this wide stand and to find a place and have the seating, like it goes so far out. Like there's no way to, it's weird. But anyway, so this won't be a thing. Oh, my hair is so, I had done a vinegar. I don't remember if I told the other day because I was like, some people pay attention to details and stuff, and then when they're, thinking about their own hair or whatever. And so mine, I had done a vinegar wash, I think the night before last. Well, because being outside and doing all this work and there's a lot of dust and um, dirt. Just it's very grimy and sawdust and stuff, so it just felt so dirty, and then it's sweaty, and you get like concrete and water and stuff splashing all over. It's just filthy work out there, but I enjoy it. I'm not really. I mean, he's the craftsman. I'm just the grunt. But there's a lot of squatting and picking shit up and holding stuff and everything, and then oh my god, just doing all of the boards and putting the okay, let me finish my hair first. So anyways, I rinsed my hair and that night, and it felt like it was really fresh. I thought, wow, it feels really good. So maybe a vinegar rinse like every 2 weeks, maybe a month. But it was like, that'd be okay. It seemed fresh and stuff. It felt good. It felt really clean. And then last night it felt and I let it dry during the day. This last night when we came in, I went and took a shower later. So my hair was sopping wet. It's still wet right now. And so I was sopping wet when I went to bed. And then, and then plus, so I did the vinegar rinse again, and I didn't leave it sit. I mean, I squirted it on my hair, and then I shaved my legs and all that stuff. It was just scrubbing all this grime off of me. And then, so a couple of minutes it was on there, and then I rinsed it out. And then, but it felt like it felt too stripped. It was too much. Definitely, using vinegar like a shampoo. No, good, too fast. And that's another thing I would think I did before, because I can kind of recognize there's like a certain texture to it. So if you're doing this stuff and you're finding these like kind of weirdness with your hair, then maybe you're probably doing the vinegar too much or something. Just keep trying to, like, it's the steering, keep trying to find your balance for you, and everybody's gonna be different. And so it was so dry. It was like kind of the same when I put the clay in it. And it could be a lot just my texture, my hair, just saying like, fuck you with this shit. And I could have just rinsed it with water probably and just put the essential oil, which has smelled so good because I put a lot of essential oils, or my spray. I have rosemary and clove water, which you boil those, and then you take the water, and then it's really good for your hair. And also cinnamon is really good for your hair. And then there's a bunch of essential oils, but rosemary, I think lavender, castor oil. There's a lot that promote healthy hair and stuff. I put like geranium oil or something, and I put a bunch of different ones. I think fennel oil. Fennel oil smells so good. It smells like licorice. And my favorite, man, right now is spearmint. And it was supposedly, somebody had said it takes facial hair off if you use the spearmint. And so I've been putting it on. I put it on all the time because I love the way it smells. I put it on. I was like, oh my God, this is the best smelling stuff in the world. And so I started mixing it in my stuff. I haven't really seen that much difference on my facial hair though. Like it still just feels like, I just feel furry, like a fucking peach, I swear to God. Then what was that? Okay, so the hair, yeah. So I sprayed the essential oils, and it smelled really good. It smelled fresh, man. But I don't like the way it feels. It feels weird. But I think that's from the overdoing vinegar. And then it just, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, it's just weird. So anyways, just watch out doing something too much, like thinking, like how they convinced us, we need to wash our hair all the time and shampoo it and stuff. Well, it was so dusty, but I could have just rinsed out the dust and then used my brush to get out the debris, spray in my oil stuff, and just let it dry. But, I'm going to try not to even wash it. Like, I'm supposed to leave in the morning and go, I got to paint this mural and stuff. So I'm going to try and not wash my hair for a week, but it's going to be like being hot and dusty and stuff everywhere. So I don't know. But I'm really excited too about what I was going to say a minute ago was the stain. When you put the stain on, and I was using this gel stain, which this coffee, I mean, it's called like espresso or something. Like this coffee color is really deep, dark brown. I love it. And did the ground wood for the floor. And then it goes with the other wood that's exposed of the treated kind, and the two colors go, oh my god, they just go so good together. And then with the bricks, oh my gosh, I'll do a video. We're still not done. We're still got to do steps on the other side and then clean up all the mess because it's really messy out there. But oh my gosh, I freaking love it so much. I can't even believe it. I can't believe it's so crazy because probably the old Kelly, like I don't really know her that well anymore. It's crazy because when you get past like who you were before is so real, but you like disconnect from them. It's like you heal their stuff, and then it's kind of like you let them go or something. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just saw another girl talking about her process, and it's funny too because she do these cute videos. She does a lot of cute ones about food, but she's like a real character. But what I had seen her, I started watching her, was ones where she was doing about the hair, and she was the one who, her hair is like this strawberry blonde, and she could push it and it would just stay. I was like, oh my god, her hair is so. And she was talking about the hair stuff. And see, it's like too dense. It won't stay back and stuff. Like, it's like it's less clean or something. I don't know. Like, don't overdo the vinegar because it makes it feel less clean. But so she just does these cute videos all the time. Like, she's real up and stuff. And so yesterday she did a video and she said, she has a big following, I think. And she said, that she always seems happy and upbeat and stuff like that, but she wanted to tell her story because she wasn't always like that, and it's been a huge thing to get there. And see, this is where I'm talking about. This is where you're going to start seeing the leaders of where we're going. It is going to be, these people are going to be coming out of the woodwork of and some will be, it's a certain energy. So it's like she was out there trying to spread, being smart about your health and what you consume, about good recipes for vegetarian and healthier ways to live and stuff like that. Like, that's her platform kind of thing. And so she's out there trying to spread goodness. So she's bringing this certain energy to what is, and this is where you got to recognize as a soul, like how it is kind of like how the streets moving in front of you. So you, the vessel, you have to keep yourself in balance, and you're going down a road that is paved just for you, that has, a hotel is designed totally for you. The person waiting in there is the one who you needed to interact with, either for their benefit or for yours or whatever. It's these constant interactions along your route, and they're set up exactly for you. The whole way is set up for you, by you. But you, because you're not connected to the one who set it up. So, and I am connected. And that is what I'm telling you. Even when you connect, it is about building the trust. It's not about knowing everything that's about to happen. It's about the trust of knowing that everything's about to happen is happening for you. It's your path. It's your visited. It's your visited. I don't know, merging too many words or something. It's like your visitation, or visitors, your it's your experience. Your path is your experience for your growth. And so, but even when you connect to your higher self, which the process to me so far has been kind of like, you're born, and everybody tells you what the world is and what life is, and and even when you question it, they'll tell you, no, don't trust your own instincts, don't trust yourself. Can you imagine other animals and stuff like that? I was thinking something about that this morning. It was something about like that we're taught, and I was thinking, can you imagine for another animal to even accept thinking on those terms? Like what got us, it was arrogance and ego. That is the story behind the apple of the wisdom. It's the desire of where you can be taken when you're chasing something like that. Things come to you. You don't have to chase them. And that's what people have to understand is the chase. You're trying to go after something. It's a different path when you are going after something. That is kind of like the timeline of your insecurity. You're chasing something. And mine was, I think we're all chasing like who we are and wanting to feel good about ourselves and feel accepted by people. So we're all kind of chasing the same thing. We're just all going at different ways about doing it. And since it's all part of our destined path, we all have certain ways it was going to play out the way it was supposed to play out for us. And so, but your most productive way is your realization that that is playing out for you, not to get all caught up, when the Lord hates me, the Lord is against me, to understand that there's not an all superior Lord that has got time for you. It's your job, it's your higher aspect's job to mind you. And so it isn't like when you're going outside of you, you're going to the next step up of you, It is like to me, like I say, it is like, it's not like a boardroom. It is, swear to God, it's like a fucking way more like the Starship Enterprise in there. And it is kind of like my higher self is in the driver's seat. Kind of think about, I think it's called Robotnik, of the Sonic guy, the bad guy. In the second one, when he got inside the big robot thing and he was moving it around, and I was thinking, how symbolic that is of the soul. And then in that one, he's representing the soul as he's leaned into the dark and out of ego and stuff. And so he is being driven by the dark. But so, because we're all those vehicles, that's what, this suit is. That is like why, when we get in it, why we have to learn how to use it. And then it has to like grow and expand and stuff. But it's like we have to, it's something about learning how to use it. Like, because the soul is energy. And so, but the soul is what gives it the power. Like that girl telling people, like, how many of these fucking people are out there telling people they don't have a soul? And, our society is cut off from themselves. And I'll tell you what, I'm just getting weirded out more and more. Like I just got another flash. I'm just getting so many flashes. Even at night, it is like I'm up doing this. Like it's weird. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like our dreams or something is really just going into, is it kind of like, like things play out in other ways. Like if your consciousness goes through an experience, then when it goes into a dormant state of like where the vessel's not involved, and it was trippy too because the vessel's all this shit is so fucking trippy to me. But so I mean, it's so far advanced from anything that we could even, I think people are be way more disappointed to think like I'm not flesh and blood. Oh, yes, I am. I gotta be. I bleed. I cut myself and I bleed. You do that, guys. You believe it. That's why. It's part of the game. Like, it wouldn't be a very fun game if that wasn't a part of it, right? So, I mean, it'd be very pretend. I mean, we're in a fucking game where it's like real. Like, we get experience. Like, this is, and what is even crazier is this is what it is. Because it is the creation of life. Like, there isn't something we are recreating. This is the creation. This is life. And then when you think about this is really life. It is the mere a creation of an energies development of understanding its own self. Then when you think about like how they've confused people so much about what life is, and they had to do that like to confuse them about death. The whole thing was that they had to use fear, and the things that they knew about us that they used against us is fear and ego, and they've like gotten things so out of balance. But in order to get to make fear be really effective, you can't have somebody think they're an eternal being and they're here just like in a dream. And I mean, if that were the case, we'd be living different lives. Who the fuck is going to go to work? Who's going to go do their shit? Is, and that's what happens when people start waking up. They start going like, why am I going to work for them? Why am I doing this? Like, because that is where you start listening to your soul. Because when you're not listening to your soul, you're caught up in the storyline. You're caught up in the game. And so, but this is that, releasing the game, stop seeing yourself in the game. But it's that being that you are in the game. That is the one, like I already had to go through that process. And mine was, it was a long process. And this is, what I say is going to be interesting, is how this is going to hit so many people in so many ways. It's so crazy too. Fucking, it's the 4th. Swear to God, when are they going to fucking do this shit, man? But Brazil now is, there's places that are going to SAR already. So it's already moving. It's kind of like the energy just keeps moving, but it keeps backing up into, the biggest takeover place is here. So, it's going to keep hitting here. But I don't know. I mean, they're obviously not going to just fucking do it. Like, what happened on the 1st? Are we on Fed now? Like, what the hell's going on about that? So it seems like that the dark side, that they have plans, like they're going to do this or they're going to do that. And then they put it into motion, because you got to think about, like, they've got all these bankers and community developers and all this shit in their back pockets. And the people may not know the roles they play to the depth, but still, it's a game of, selling your soul and life. What are you willing to do for a buck? And these people enjoy. I mean, there's people who get down on the ground and bark like a dog and lick your shoe for $100 or something like that. They enjoy humiliating people and getting people to, for $1, because it's like the dollar is them. The dollar is their creation. And so it's a power trip kind of thing. This whole thing about what people will do to sell out for money, and how important money becomes to some of these people, like money is their god or something. So, And that's the downfall of our society. That's the part that's going to hurt. It's going to feel good, for us to get underneath the thumb of the big ones on the very top, the owners of the banks and stuff, when all that shit goes. But it's the people who kept the system going, who were boots on the ground. Those people, weren't hidden out and living in cabins and forests. Those people were having families, going to soccer, going to church on Sunday. So those people, that's where I say, communities and churches and families, that they're going to see a lot of people, because it's going to expose the corrupt side of people, that hasn't been exposed so far. But this is that energy. This is that purge. That energy is coming out. You can't hide it. There's nothing you can do about it. And so the people who played their dark parts, they're going to have to face themselves. And that is going to be really, really hard, because people haven't been taught how to heal and forgive themselves. And the shame is such a heavy burden. It's just all encompassing. And there's this big thing going on right now from a comedy show. It was this lady, she's not anybody I'd ever heard of. She's stand-up. She's been stand-up for 10 years. And so she does the, whatever the circuit around the comedy clubs, I guess. And, just tours around. And she has a following, but it's one of those things, like, it seems like people saw her on social media. And so then they all started liking her. And I don't know, maybe I don't know. I don't know who the hell she is. And so, but she's popular. And this, my daughter's going to see somebody, and they had to pay a shit ton of money for these tickets. And it's a guy who just came off of YouTube. And his whole routine is he just stands up on stage and talks to people and just says funny things about what they say. His whole routine. He's really popular, and his tickets are expensive. He's going on tour. He's not just working the circuit. So I don't know what her deal is. I mean, when I went to go look and see like who the person was, I think she had like 1.2 million followers or something. And then I saw somebody talking about it. They're talking about how like she's really known and all this stuff. It's so funny how fame is and stuff. Like, somebody can be famous. That doesn't mean every single person in the world knows who the fuck they are. And so that's why it's so crazy how these people just a clout chaser, fame chasers, sell your soul to have a few yes men, and then have a few people who just want to bring you down and talk shit about you. Like, I go simple. Like, what? But anyways, so those people who play their parts. And so, okay, the one girl, the young girl who really was telling her story, and she went out, and to me, she's going to help a lot of people, I think. You could see it building. And then when she came out with her story, it's really, really good. Because it's so powerful of her taking control of her own destiny. Her mom's alcoholic, her dad's super controlling, just to beat you down. If you don't, you have to agree with him. You have to do what he says. Anything that you think is just stupid and stuff like that. And she just felt so horrible about herself all the time. And she started drinking all the time. And she became just a drunk. This is a very young girl. And she said, going and doing shitty things and get yourself in more drama. That's what I say. When you're trying to hide from one thing, you can just get yourself into more problems, more things you're going to feel shame about, especially if alcohol is involved. And then she realized, that she had to set boundaries. She had to get off alcohol, like all her things. And she did it herself. And I think she's in no contact right now with her dad because she set the boundaries. And sometimes you have to be no contact for a while. But the thing is, you don't want that to be your end goal. You don't want that to be just like, okay, I'm getting this person out of my life. Because then you have, it's like, how are you setting your boundaries? If you just set them one time, then that's like, okay, you're out of my life. Then the boundary, the challenges are how you continue to build the structure. Just getting someone out of your life one time, that, that was kind of easy. I mean, done it, since 5th or 6th grade, break up with somebody, best friends, everything, and just get somebody out of your life. But it is, we have to acknowledge and realize that these things are a lot more in depth to help us grow. It's not just, shit to look the other way, distract yourself. And that's another thing about like the Sodom and Gomorrah they created, is give you so many things to distract you and then put it in movies and shit and program you. It's like, well, that's the best option. Don't get too caught up in this or that. Be mindless, work smarter, and don't do anything. Don't grow. Don't become developed. And so that girl, I mean, she's the only, I think she just went no contact, like, I don't know, 8 months ago or something. She definitely wasn't like that same attitude of get that person out. She was talking way more about how, I think it, when you have that loud voice in your head, when that person's just beating you down, that's why I think my youngest daughter has, I'm the monster in her head. She can't get my voice out, so she has to go non-contact, which is, it's fine, you gotta mind your story. You gotta mind your vessel. God, I'm in a whole bunch of different places. Oh, okay. So, man, because the mine is like the Starship Enterprise. It's like the higher self is sitting in this seat, and it kind of is like me. There's like a go-between. Like, I think that must be the ego or something. Like there's a lot going on in there that is, you can see yourself like react, but it's like your higher self is like the calmness, the all-knowing, and it sits like in a throne in the top of your head. That is so crazy. That is exactly so. It does. It's like in my visual of my thing, it's like, there's like a big round thing, and there's a lot of stuff going all on the sides, and a lot of different things, and a lot of communication and stuff, and people saying, spouting shit out, and somebody who's always sitting there like deciding, well, is that good, is that no. So the one in the sitting in the did I say crown? They were sitting in the crown, but they're sitting in the, what are those things, like a king or a queen? But even in the Starship Enterprise, he had like that big square chair. You'd think for how much I said that I watched the show. It's like I didn't. It was just so popular back then. When I was a kid, it was really, really popular, and a lot of people watched it. So, but I didn't watch it. I mean, I watched it some. I saw some, but I wasn't like a. I mean, there was like Trekkie people who were really into it, and let's see. I know like Spock and Captain Kirk, and then I think that's all. Scotty. I know Scotty. Scotty beamed me up. And then I know how they like traveled. I know that they would go and see other beings and stuff like that. I think there was always some drama on the ship or something. But yeah, I don't really know. But anyways, in my mind, I see that same kind of chair. And I don't know, my higher self even kind of looks like Captain Kirk. Now I've kind of put that into as his it sits there, but it's like it's almost like these different, is it different like messages? Is it my messages from myself run up, and it is like the king, the higher self sits at in the throne, sits in the throne of the mind. And because this is like the whole universe. You are the universe in the micro macro. It is, the universe is an expression of self. And so you're sitting in the crown, in the throne, in the head, and then you are And then there is like, because the one that's always coming up to say things or ask things or talk or something looks like me. But the one sitting in the thing, I would not call him a God, because nobody else is coming and talking to this, my higher self. And to me, it's like all these people, they think if you're talking to God, God over all of us would be, one higher self way at the top, that we are all talking to this one higher self. Why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So the whole concept of God doesn't make any sense unless you can accept the fact that you are the God. You have to accept that you're the God. So even in my mind's eye, where I can see him sitting there, is like, it's, I'm not, well, if I even go up to his face, I could see it like Captain Kirk, but it's kind of like I'm creating it like that at this point, because I'm seeing it as the Starship Enterprise. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of stuff going on in there, and it is minding the shop, becoming comfortable in there, because there is a lot. It's not just, like, I really wonder. My son-in-law and I were talking last night, and I was saying something about, I've always just been one of those people who was like really deep. Like, people are like, didn't want to talk to me because it was like heavy. Like, in a teenager, like, it just wants to be super superficial and shallow and shit. And I was just not like that. And it's so weird. Like, if I get these flashes of me, it's kind of like me sitting there, in deep thought or something. And them all over there, like, look at this, look, I don't know. It was like a different energy. And but I couldn't change it. I couldn't pretend to be something I wasn't. I had to be myself. There was no way. And that is like, I couldn't change myself. So I was like, I wonder what, I'm always thinking in a certain way. Like, I process in a deep, heavy way, I guess. I think for a lot of people, it's way too much, the stuff I pay attention to, look at, and think about. And, and then a lot of times it's real. So a lot of times I've said things that, bothered somebody or hurt their feelings or something. It wasn't like I meant to, but it's like kind of like just, what I see or whatever. And so I think that's another thing too that would put people off or something, is because I just would see things in a real way or whatever and say it. But I guess other people just don't. Other people aren't real. Other people don't look at things deep or something. They just want to look at things in a shallow way, but I don't know how to do that. Like, it's not possible for me. So, I don't understand all of the whole thing. Like, I know that I'm not the only person like me here. It's just weird. But we were talking about like the awakening and about, the people and how it's just so shallow. Because I was like, well, I don't get it. Like, well, what do people talk about or think about? Like, I don't get it. I think people just want to talk about like the weather and what they drank last night or something. It's so strange. It's like, yeah, basically. And I'm like, what, like, what Kim Kardashian's doing, what she's eating for dinner or something? That's like what they like to talk about? And he goes, yeah, basically. Like, it's so weird, man. Which, by the way, Kim and her mom are getting charges on them for, of course, all sorts of stuff. There'll be all sort of RICO Act. I keep seeing that going, but that might be something about politicians or media people. But she's got like fraud. I know fraud is a charge. There's going to be a bunch. There's a lot of people who are going to go down. People idolized. And another thing that is weird is people keep putting more and more of these videos together. And it's strange, is finding these old pictures. Like, if you've seen the Greta Thunberg one, like, I think a lot of people have seen the Greta Thunberg one. There's so many. But where it's this picture from like, I don't know, 200, 300 years ago or something, supposedly. This black and white picture. Like, when did they start taking motherfucking pictures? Like, where are all these motherfucking pictures coming from? And I fucking seen video. I saw video of them making Stonehenge the other day. Like, what the fuck? Supposedly they made Stonehenge. It's not even fucking real. The whole thing was made up shit. I just saw those people out there celebrating, but they bring the energy then. So they can make something, but then the other side of it is that the energy is brought and the energy comes. So they create that thing, but maybe the way they set up the stones was that they were trying to create something and they knew that we would come and use the energy. So I don't know. Everything's just so more, the shallow thinking people were perfect for them because these people are deep motherfucking thinkers. So they think way in the head. But these pictures of so many actors from like a couple hundred years ago where they look like the same motherfucking person. It's like, fuck, man. So is it clones? Is it like a rich person a long while back? And then every time they die, they go, and the scientists just put them into another body? Like, that looks like them? Like they clone their body and just bring them current into the times? I don't know. Like, it's weird. Like, there's definitely something weird. I don't know what it is. But, those are going to be like, there's going to be so many things for us to start finding out about that are just so strange. I mean, for them to build motherfucking Stonehenge, I told you we were in a goddamn habitat. Fucking just, let's put a little fish tank. Let's put some plants over here. Some rocks. Oh, we put these little things over here. Think it's a cave. We'll swim through. Fuck, Oh, and this shit going on the East Coast. Motherfuck, man. God damn. There's going to be any people alive over there? Son of a bitch, man. I don't know. Now it's just raining on some of these people like for 10 days. And there is, I don't know what the hell. I mean, it's obviously chemical compounds, like for sure. But, and there's more than one kind. Like I've been saying, like, you see some on top of the water, they've got shit on the water, they've got shit on the ground, they've got, like, there's foam, there's particles, the trees are dying, animals are dying, people's eyes are all red, they're sick. It's fuck, man. I just wish this shit would just hurry up and go. Like, fuck. Just fucking blow us up so we can get the fuck out of this shit and go to the next part. Like, this is true. But I think it seems like, because why all this whole big thing? I mean, the whole big thing all through June. Oh, they couldn't pay their bills. Impossible. Oh, but then all of a sudden, well, we found an error. We found $6 billion, but we're going to send it over to the crane. Oh, okay. So we're back to zero again? Or we're back to... Oh, my God. That was like... So, but that's, just the outrage to get people... Like, there's so much outrageous shit going on. And people keep being outraged, man. Oh, I can't fucking believe this shit. Like, you guys, pay attention to this. They're panicking and stuff. None of this stuff is going to go, but... like they said that, we weren't going to be able to pay our bills in June. And then I got my Social Security, and that was like June 21st or something. And I'll hear about it if my mom didn't get hers, but she would have got hers like the 28th. So all of June, all that shit went out. I don't know anybody on food stamps or any of that stuff, so we would have to ask somebody on those if they got their stuff. I haven't seen people on TikTok saying it, but those accounts, they'll just take them down, they just shut it down. So because they're very in control of what we're seeing in social media right now, that's for fucking sure. And so the let me think what I was saying. Okay, so the people on the East Coast. Oh yeah, so they say they're gonna, that we can't pay our debts, in June, but they said that in October of 2022. Also, I'm like, how do they keep saying these things? Like, we're in the red, we have no money, there's no, like, how do they keep saying these things? I mean, for those of us who know, it just shows us more and more how fucking corrupt this shit is. Like, they're not even, money's not real. It's just a fucking game. They're just moving things around on the computer anyways. It's not fucking anything real. And so it's a fucking money trap. And then, so for those of us awake, but a lot of people are awake, they're just in full-on panic about every goddamn thing. Because they're not all the way awake. They've got this big, thing that's going to happen that's going to knock them more awake. And then they'll see. But so the Fed now is supposed to start June 1st, not there. And then, no, July 1st. And nothing. Like, there should be we should be getting notified from our bank. There should be, you wouldn't accept cash anywhere. Cash would be obsolete. So, what's up with that? That was supposed to start. So, and how many things? The constant thing about, like, oh, we're going to be nuked and stuff. So it's kind of like they just want to keep people distracted and stressed. And people play along. But, yeah, I play along. I'm not trying to shame anybody. Like, all these things. I'm just waiting on the fucking edge of my seat for the shit to hurry up and go down. Like, fucking hell, drag this shit out. And then, it seems kind of like everything that they want to do, like, they want to take over our control because they want the, what is that? Their ultimate goal of, it won't just be a credit score. It's a social credit score. And then they're in control of the payment. So, in control of what you can purchase. So you can't, they can decide, no, you ate out, you already ate out. They want to know about how much meat people consume. Like, they can tell you already had your portions this month, so it's just all about control. And then working towards it so hard, with the food things and stuff. So, but also people got to see that they're consuming too much of it. And that they need, it's partly the people that need to pull back because the people play their part. None of this stuff can go down if the people don't play their part. So the people always play their part. So the people have got to pull back and start, changing their relationship with food, changing their relationship with money, changing their relationship with themselves, recognizing the part they play in the toxic relationships that they have, and start improving things for themselves. But I think that a lot of the stuff they keep saying is to stress, but I think also it is kind of like they were going to do it, but then they keep hitting into all the walls, and they can't get over the walls because, like I said, fucking, I don't know, it's been going on so goddamn long, fucking 2 years ago, it's like the white hat, the freedom fighter, whatever you want to refer to them as. Like, you can only say the wrong word and people are like, oh, that's not even true. There's no alliance. There's no white hats. There's no Q. That would have already happened. Okay, well, it's not just about taking down the government. It's about waking people up. It's about the slow wake up. So to get the least amount of violence and anger, but during that is a lot of death and tragedy. But when you are coming at life from a spiritual perspective, you don't look at that the same way. Death isn't the end of anything. And it is, it's just changing, the energy just changing forms, going out of this vessel, which is, cumbersome to move around and stuff. And, but the vessel gets to allow you to feel sensations, taste, figure out what taste is, figure out what pain and suffering and love and passion, you get to experience all those things by coming into this vessel. But in order to experience this containment, you have to be in this low vibration, because the only place that it can hold its form is in low vibration. And so a lot of the experience is a lot of pain and suffering, but it's all part of the learning. So it's not like, where people think, oh, God, he would never allow this. God would never let there be pain and suffering. Well, what do you think? Fucking God wants just a bunch of pansy-ass, whiny bitches sitting around. Oh, it's so hot. Oh, it's so good. No. You grow and you learn, and, you learn to just like, oh, this is temporary. Or, you just start seeing things bigger. I mean, and part of their thing too is like, look at like how many grown-ass adults there are who are still children. It's a part of their thing, keeping people underdeveloped. And the sad thing is the people who remain underdeveloped feel the turmoil inside. And that turmoil inside is their soul screaming at them and being mad at them and trying to get them to listen. But they keep steering off the path. And then they have to, go to their life review and see. It takes the higher mind to understand your higher self has developed like this road trip of life for you. It is the whole itinerary was set. Everywhere you're stopping, everywhere you go, everyone you meet along the way is designed to the fucking split second. Like nothing, there's nothing that can put anything off from how it was supposed to happen. It is the replay. It is the written story. It's the replay of it. Oh yeah, and like while I'm going and dreaming and stuff at night, it's like I'm going and playing some of this shit out or something. But it's like it's real, like it's really confusing me. This weird merge that is happening. I don't know. There is like, as your consciousness wakes up, it is like it's like a wild stallion at times. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's like you gotta tame a wild stallion. Tame the mind. And it is funny too, like, because a lot of the things, like using discernment to me is kind of like going before the Godfather, kissing the ring. What does this mean to us, sir? What does this mean? How do we feel about this? Let's look over it. Let's play it out. Let's look at it from this side and that side. Let's see. How do we feel about this? So, but, I don't know how other people go. Like, is there just nothing going on up there? They're just so caught up in, like, maybe that is the thing, why they've got so many with the pharmaceuticals trying to control serotonin and cortisol and dopamine and stuff. Maybe that is why they use so many drugs to control those, and so many situations, to bring people down. I think probably part of the whole education, plan was to get kids away from their parents and in schools to start beating them down early. Because how much shame. I mean, I lived in a time when they were still spanking kids in school, and I had to they called them licks. Isn't that kind of weird, huh? I got licks so many times. I was one of those kids that, like, everybody knew Kelly got licks all the time. I was always in trouble. And wasn't even like, me getting in trouble was from being like impulsive, and like I was a cut up in class. I would, just say funny things. Like I would be very quiet and introverted. And I can't get up and talk in person, but boy, I can just like somebody, like teacher says something and I can, throw something out there and everybody start laughing. And then I would get in trouble and I'd have to go to the principal, and I was constantly getting licks. But getting licks, you have to stand out in the hallway of the school. So you gotta get the humiliation in there. And I got licked so many times I wasn't fucking humiliated. It was just like, yeah, I got licked again. Um, and then you'd have to bend over. Just like, what is that in that fucking military movie or something? Bend over and touch your ankles or something. Like, you'd have to bend over and hold on to someone. I'm pretty sure it was your ankles. And then they would take this big ass board. It was fucking huge. I think it was like 3 feet, solid wood, and about 4 inches, like this tall. And then you'd have to stand over and bend over in the hall for everybody to see. And then the principal would come out with this big board and then spank you in school. Like, it was called corporal punishment, I think. And it was just allowed, but I was just that weird kid who was probably like, I don't know, do they have special ed yet? There was special ed, but I don't know, I guess I was too advanced for that class. I don't know. But, I didn't, like, the tests and stuff, I would just fill in the dots. I never knew what was going on in class. As soon as the teacher started speaking, I just went into a trance and I was gone. And then the bell would go and I would come back into my body and I would be like, what the hell just happened? Where are we? And what are we doing here? Yeah, so I would just go through my day like that. And, and I didn't know, that was weird or anything. I didn't know. It wasn't even until I got to be older and I started working in medical where I started hearing about attention deficit. And then I was like, oh, that's what I have. I have attention deficit. And then it started being like this big diagnosis and everybody had it. That's when I started being like, no, this isn't something wrong with us. This isn't like something you need medicated out of. This is a consciousness ability. It's more of something of like taming the stallion, getting control of the mind. It's just like certain things were just easily out of control. Just like, I can just go into a trance. Like, I don't even go into a trance. Like, I hear them talking without having to do anything. I can be in a conversation with people and still be hearing them talking and talking to them at the same time I'm having a conversation with other people. Like, that's what I said. It's like a whole fucking Starship Enterprise up in my head. There's a lot of shit going on up in there. And so, I don't understand what goes on in other people's heads, but I think it's, if it's not some kind of management process, then it's out of control. Like, you need to find a way to, rally the forces, tame the stallion in your mind and start getting control of it. And, it's the mastery, and that is your consciousness. It's not just your mind, it's your consciousness that you're trying to get, control over. How it sees things, what it's doing, how it looks at things, and it's a real huge mastery is being in this vessel and being able to do it through all of the challenges. So it's, this is top tier shit. This is what we're going through right now. It's like, when people tell people that you don't have a soul, that's ridiculous. Your fucking soul is advanced as a motherfucker to even be going through this. So it is, it's like top shelf shit. But the problem to me is that the people are just so caught up in the game. But when the game, the game's going to fail. It's going to be like the lights come on. Something's going to go, and I don't know what it's going to be. I just heard somebody saying it was going to be the money thing. But it could be, the, government rulers. Once people see that whole situation, but I don't know. The money thing, but something in the system's going to collapse to get everybody's attention and get everybody to see. And money that's going to hurt a lot of people. A lot of people are going to be really, and I know that they're surrounded by the quantum thing. Like, I know that's why I think why none of this stuff keeps starting when they tell us it's going to start, because every time they try and start it, it hits into the quantum thing, and it's going to go direct into the quantum, and they keep trying to drag it out, so it won't do that. But it's like like I said, it's like they're surrounded, but they're not out here loosely surrounded anymore. It's like they're surrounded, but the people who are surrounding them, like the White House alliance, whatever you want to call them, that the pressure's coming in on them now, and it's moving in, so they've got nowhere to go, and this circle's getting smaller and smaller. That's why you're seeing arrest after arrest after arrest, because all of these people, and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then even when you get to the people in the very core, half of them are wearing masks. Half of them are goddamn clones. They're not even the real person. So that, is going to be the illusion for the rotten motherfuckers. They are, so I know that we're really, Brazil has now gone to Sargasara. Africa, like so many places are already on it. And, we're not going to get to see, like, Russia, guys, Putin, he's a part of trying to get us to wake up. So he makes sure and goes out there and keeps telling, like, it's free energy here, and we don't take the dollar anymore and stuff, like, everybody's got food here, like, and it's going to be, well, I know they're not going to just turn around and give everybody $1 million. Like a lot of people keep thinking that you're just going to have this account that's going to be filled with ungodly amounts of money, but people aren't ready for it yet because their priorities are still low. They just blow it. So, it could be, I heard there's going to be like a $10,000 supplement income for everybody or something, which you don't know if that's just people saying stuff. Yeah, I think there's going to be, I heard Social Security is going to go to like $6,000 a month for people on retirement and stuff. It's not going to be like having to eat dog food and cat food and shit anymore. So, but everything is, the cost of living is going to go so far down. It's going to be so cheap. And it's going to be able, more travel, but more first class travel. It's going to be, very different kind of lifestyles for people. So money is going to be like, there's going to be so much of what people need. It's going to be totally different. Like, it's not going to be chasing the dollar, trying to, screw anybody over to get one so you can buy lunch or something. It's going to be that you've got plenty of money. It's not even a concern of yours. And, so it's not like you're going to need $1 million in the bank. And even, for some people having $1 million in the bank, they're still going to feel stressed. Like, what if I lose it? What if I lose it? So it's this relationship. See, that's the part that's trying to develop in people right now. So that's why I don't think it's just going to go automatically, but there's going to be everything you need right away. Like free homes, free land, free food, like all of that stuff will start going. And all the money into humanitarian projects, building up communities and all that stuff. So that would be tons of money going in to build communities, especially like right now while they're trying to destroy them. God damn, you see all this footage of these. It's like they've just, in some cities, it's just like gangs of, I don't know, young men at this point, just running around, just busting in windows of stores, and just, everybody on the street just runs in and starts grabbing stuff off of the shelves and stuff like that. This is like, I can't even imagine being in places like Chicago or Oakland. Some of these places are just really, really bad and dangerous right now. And it's all part of the exposure, all part of, for people to see how corrupt the government was. Like, government's not doing shit to take care of these cities or take care of crime. It's all a fucking illusion. It's all game. So, but and it's all a part of the purge of the evilness too. All that toxic energy that's got to come out. And some people, it's going to stay in them and they'll go with it. But all that energy has to purge out of people. Man, this is good. Man, it's going to be so so complex and so complicated. Just because it's going to be so versatile. It's not like you can just, it's one thing. It's not like a one size fits all. And that's why it's going to be important that there is so many healer people. It's so crazy because right now there's like healers thrown around just like spiritual. And so everybody goes around like, oh, well, I'm a healer. I'm an energy healer. I'm a Reiki energy healer. I'm a whatever, all these different things. It's like, okay, you don't just go in and heal the energy. You can go in and, release energy or something. But I don't know. It's the person releasing it. It's your participation. It's you being like, okay, I'm releasing this energy. But releasing energy only lets something come up to the surface, because the energy that's holding it in is you're the energy that's holding it in. You're like bottle capping all of your situations that happen in life. So you just put them in there and you bottle cap them in. And so you're holding them with your energy because you don't want to face them. So you're just like a ticking time bomb, which my fucking neighbor, man, I don't know, man, that guy is losing it daily at this point. So I don't know, man. I can see the energy on the planet, if you're not healing and not doing well for yourself, is going to be too intense. And, you're going to lose your shit and probably end up in jail or dead or something. You've got to be healing. You've got to be facing your demons, man. So I think that the energy is... what was I going to say? Because it was something a second ago before I was talking about the neighbor. I mean, he's just been out there all weekend screaming and yelling at the kids. Screaming and yelling at, I mean, he's been out there just... I'm sure inside of him, he's probably about to lose his goddamn mind. There's going to be so many people, and he just rushes around and goes to work and tries to please his wife, and he's resentful as fuck of her. That's what happens to people. They're rushing around trying to do this stuff to please somebody, and then they just become resentful of the person, and everybody becomes resentful of each other. And that's because we don't have time. We don't use our time wisely. Use our time for the people we care about and love and spending time with them. Instead, we spend it with people we don't even like at work, and frustration and stuff. And then we come home and we're tired and burdened and frazzled, and nobody's acknowledging what you went through, and the other person's not acknowledging, and everybody's just feeling isolated and lonely. And, it's just such a much more healthier way to stay in nature, and natural, and not get caught up in this world that they created. And to just, what's important is living and what you do with your experience and the adventures and spending time with people. It's not about how many things you can buy or own for how much money you can make. And, and I don't mean to sound like a hypocrite, because I do want to go out and get more properties, but it's not like I want to go out and get more properties so I can become some sort of slumlord taking advantage of people. It's like, because I want to have places where I can stay and travel when I go. I want to have destinations where I love to go here, so I'll get a place here. And then when I'm not there, I'll just open it up to other people to be able to go and travel there. So it's not like I'm trying to look at it as like, but there is going to be a lot of really cool properties when the dollar crashes that are going to become available. And, it's like everything's going to crash. And so I think you'll be able to buy a goddamn ranch for $20,000. But see, I don't think they're going to put that much into people's accounts real quick, because there has to be the part where you work for yourself. Like there's a development that has to happen. And so you can't jump over development processes. And so but what I think the big thing will be that they'll be giving away a lot of property in safe places. So when the cataclysm happens, that you're in safe zones. So I think that is where it is kind of like they'll be directing people into areas through like, well, we're going to be giving away all this property. We're going to be building up this community over here and that. And so many people are losing their homes already anyways. In one disaster after another. Like they're relentless with the fucking tornadoes and floods and just goddamn. I think they're about, I thought that they already had started the hurricanes. I mean, they got cyclones going, like tsunamis, volcanoes, earthquakes. It's like every motherfucking thing's going. And so people are losing their houses and stuff. So there'll be a lot of people who'll be like jumping on there. And then in those places where those start developing, that's med beds, everything. The whole medical thing is going to be different. And another thing that's coming to the surface right now is there's a few doctors who are trying to start these other kind of practices against, away from the pharmaceutical industry. And 3 of them just got found dead. So that's why I said everything's about timing. You can think like you're escaping where you live and trying to escape and go somewhere you think is safe, and then that place just comes in and gets hit. And so like this whole thing is learning to trust your soul's communication of where you need to be. And then the signs direct you. You've got signs along your route. It's tuning into the signs, paying attention to the energy, and not getting caught up in like, what does the physical world say? What does the spiritual world say? So the spiritual world's the one you need to pay attention to. The physical one is where you're chasing something that, you're chasing someone else's dream. Get on the spiritual one and you're following your own path. And so, and being in recognition of, the things that you meet and the people you meet along the way is to get you to where you want to be, the who you want to be in the future is bringing you into your true self. And is, but, when you do look back on that person, like when I look back on who I was, like I have a lot of compassion and empathy for her. And I see it in this girl. She was talking about that yesterday too. And she started to cry. Yeah, when you look back, when you transform yourself into this whole other person and you have to really go through all of the things that the person before you did, the mistakes you made, the things that you did that you wish you wouldn't have, and all of those things. And you get to that point of acceptance in yourself. That process leads you to being it's another being. It's like you find yourself up ahead, but you gotta not be judgmental of yourself. But it's like I don't know that person anymore, and I don't know if that has to do with the brain injury too or whatever. But I've heard other people say it is kind of like being friends with somebody in first grade and being best friends with them. And then you get to high school and you see him again. And it's just like, you have a feeling for him. But it's like you don't have anything in common with them anymore. And so it's kind of like that. Like your past self, you like them. Like the old Kelly, I don't have any shame about her. Like I look at her as like she had a hard fucking life and she did the best she could. But I wouldn't sit and hang out with her. Like, she was pretty toxic. She's insecure as fuck. So, it's very emotional, man. But it's not like anger or anything. It's just like emotion. It's like, it's not even sadness. It's more like just feeling what she felt, I mean, she struggled. That's for sure. But I don't. I don't. I let go of all those struggles. I let go of feeling insecure or basing how I feel about myself, how somebody else looks at me and stuff, you know. Yeah, it's all part of the process. And that is why when you do the process, you do start, having better relationships because you don't put how you feel about yourself on somebody else's shoulders. You see yourself as, because you've taken a hard look at yourself and you've learned to accept yourself. So you don't put it up on anybody else. And so nobody can fuck you over and you don't become a burden or any of that stuff, And, I mean, so much of myself, even with, having older husbands and stuff and, them not wanting me, wanting more control over my perspective. And, that, that was a fight because they couldn't control my perspective, but they could control how I would see myself, just the beat down, of just feeling like, fuck, man, like everything is just wrong with me. I'm just like the worst person in the whole wide world. And it's so crazy too, because a lot of that is you say something and the other person feels so bad about themselves that they tell you that you're horrible, and then you feel horrible. See, we got to get to a place where we're having better relationships. There's no way that any of us should live in these toxic relationships that we've developed. It's time to move past them and to feel better about ourselves and start developing into healthy relationships, but it's all part of the process, and it's all part of the awakening and the developing into wanting more for yourself, wanting what for you, is, I don't know. But anyways, there is a lot of shit going on, and I don't know, supposedly today was supposed to be some big, huge drama that was going to be true freedom for the people, but, I don't know. It seems like some of these accounts, like same with these super spirits or these energy healers and all these people, because it's you who has to heal this shit. No energy healer can just go in and heal your shit. They can, depending on how you work with them, they can move the energy around, but it's like it's like you and them working together. Like they are, because there's all these Reiki people on TikTok all the time, live and stuff. And they're always going to release things and stuff like that. But anything you release, it isn't just like, oh, my pain and trauma just flew away. Bye. I don't have to deal with that anymore. Okay, well, see how that works out for you. See if you don't get triggered again. Because you will get triggered again. Because your pain and suffering doesn't just fly away. You have to process it. You have to release trauma. You have to let the demons out of the closet and face them. Take those bitches out. And so, yeah, it's such a misconception how these people keep in the manipulation. You ask too many questions. Well, you don't have a soul, or you would know. Well, I think that it's the other way around. It's probably you're not connected to your soul because you wouldn't be out there spreading misinformation, especially during a time like this. Especially, when you're an ego and you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people, like me who have been spiritual for a really long time. Not, tons, not anything like religion or something. But there is, but we were like, outcasts. But, you start hearing these other people who don't know jack shit just start saying stuff. And so there's other people like me who are out there going like, what in the hell? These people are telling y'all stuff that isn't true. But people who have no idea about spirituality, the only thing they've ever known about spirit is religion. And they've been anti-religion, so they're totally, they don't understand your spirit's inside of you all the whole fucking time. Doesn't matter if you're anti-religion, anti-spiritual, anti-whatever, your spirit's in there. Might want to acknowledge it. But anyways, that's what's going to go through in this awakening, in this process part. And hopefully today is going to be, our big freedom. Hopefully that fucking shit does go down. They got so many fucking fucked up cities. I mean, they'll just blow one of them up. They got so many chemicals up in the sky. They could blow that shit up. But I do think that the good guys are closing in on them and pushing them in a corner. Because now, I mean, they've said the Fed now, we were going to be on that July 1st. And business was open yesterday. And nobody was saying anything. My bank didn't say anything. There was nothing about any Fed now. So, and people are still out there using cash. So I think if that's what they were trying to do, that, didn't get a go, and whatever was going to go, it was going to go quantum. And there's already, like, you can look it up on the government things and stuff. It's already saying the quantum system is up and running. So now it's just, getting the last arrests or whatever of these criminals, which is just so many criminals, though. They're in people's families that they don't even know about yet. These are just the big criminals that were, but there's a lot of people, like, have got themselves in some shit, man. But anyways, just, hope. I think this month, I still feel like this month is going to be I can't believe it could go another month without the money collapsing for where we are in the process. I mean, they're so backed up against a corner. Like, how are they even going to come back? Well, we didn't start the Fed now yet. We just did another $60 billion over to the crane. We found that in our lost closet. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's so ridiculous at this point. So, anyways, it's just up around the corner. It's just this last part is so fucking tedious. So, anyways, it's just up around the corner, and things will change. And, and these people out spreading this ridiculousness and bad information. Like, when people are in there saying, oh, I'm a healer. Well, healers need to heal themselves and then talk about how they heal themselves. I'll just go around in the world. I'm going to heal you with moving my magic hands around you. Okay. That's not what's going on there. Energy is being moved. Energy is not, pain and suffering is not just energy. You use energy to hold in the trauma. So, anyways, but that's got to come out. But, I think even if somebody goes to an energy healer, if you're not really into it, if you're not really like, I really want to face my demons, really help me release all of this shit that I've been holding in for all this time. And it's kind of like going into a hypnosis or something and really going into that release. But then once you release, you have to process, and shit will start bombarding you. And, a lot of people, just want to run away from that because you will get bombarded so heavily by all this shit that you've been holding on to. So that's, process. And it may not be going to an energy healer when you're just starting your healing. You may want to go through some shit, process some more relevant things you're angry about, and, go through your anger, figure out, like, why am I angry? What is it in me that's hurt? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling, and just keep walking yourself backwards till you get to that place where it's like, oh, fuck. And then you'll just realize. And then that's where stuff just releases. And then, you may cry your head off for fucking days. You may laugh. You may jump up and down and be excited. It's all in how you process what you see, what you're holding on to. You may think, oh my God, I cannot believe that. And once you release it, then you'll start feeling better. And then, once you start, to me, it is more like, unless you're having a really hard time getting started, energy healer could work. But to me, it's more like when you start getting, you've been doing lots of healing and, but you still feel like, maybe things are stuck. You want things to get moving, and go in and do that and see if things come up and see if you've really, purged out a lot. Because there's always things that will come up in life to get you to have to interact with certain sides of yourself. But it is your reactions, you know, it's your reactions that you become different, that heal and grow. And that is the maturing of the self, the mastery of oneself. So anyways, it's all part of the process, and that's what we're in the process of doing. But man, they fucking got a lot of people distracted with dramas, and then plus people, I mean, some people just got fucking saved, you know, I mean, they're being poisoned, and so many people just don't even know. Like, you keep asking, like, what is this? What is this? Something you better fucking get indoors. That's what you better do. Get indoors and detox. Because it's fucking poison. And then even if you're in a place that's getting heavily poisoned, you know, you got to get it into your mind. This is what trips me out, is how they are able to affect us when we don't even know. It's all with it's all with the frequency and the chemicals. So, but in order to make us sick, you know, without us even knowing it. But so that was where the challenge, you know, start using your mind and your abilities to heal yourself. And like right now, my joints hurt so fucking bad. You know, I have to just keep going in with my mind, and I keep trying to take away the pain. And sometimes it'll just go away instantly. But anyways, it's all just a part of our own mastery of our own selves, you know, and there's nobody in there judging you but you, you know, so don't go outside of yourself looking for judgment, you know, just learn how to manage the factory. So anyways, I will talk to you later. Tomorrow, I don't know, it'll depend on when I wake up and stuff. I'm supposed to drive tomorrow, so anyways, if I'll see if I can come on and record. I will, but if I can't, then you know, I'll be back in a few days and get back to it and be back to regular. So anyways, just, you know, keep staying safe and just keep working on you. Don't get distracted and don't get put off, even when they drag this shit out. And it's all to make you just give up and lose hope. It's all to make you just think like, oh, it's all crazy. See, we are going to all end up, you know, I mean, the way they'd have it, we'd all end up dead in a cataclysm, and the last few survivors would be goddamn droids. They don't even know what gender they are. They don't know. Just, I'll tell you one thing. We went to Lowe's the other day to go get supplies. It was so fucking weird. It was like every guy in there that was working, well, there was a couple old men, but the boys on the floor, they were boys. They were literally boys. They were like young liberal men, which you could totally tell they were so young liberal men because they were so flamboyant. But they don't know jack shit. You used to go to fucking Lowe's or Home Depot. It was all tradesmen. You had to be a tradesman to work in that area. If you wanted to work plumbing, you had to be a plumber. If you had to work lumber, you had to be some sort of craftsman. You know, the people with the tool, like you had to have a profession to get into that kind of job. And now it's just like, I don't know what the hell. Like, are they trying to disrupt DIY? Is it really all the other guys have just gone on their own and aren't working now because of the corporate bullshit? And the only ones they can get now are the guys who just, you know, need a job. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but man, you just keep seeing these shifts in our society that are just like, what? But this is the collapse, you know, it's all going to collapse. It's all going down. It's just so strange to see, like, you know, you go to Lowe's and you want to ask a guy about how to do a job. These kids don't know shit. I don't even know that they even know what a fucking hammer is. Like, fuck, they don't look like they've built anything ever in their life. So maybe a science project. I don't know. They look like they play with clay. Like they look very like artsy boys or something. They don't look like, I don't know. And it's really strange too, is like, why would Lowe's hire them to work with all these manly men coming in to get their work? You know, like, It's very strange. Like, you have manly men coming in to get their stuff from little boys that don't know what the hell stuff is. I don't know. It's strange. It's upside down. It's the upside down is flipping right set up so we can see, like, okay, this is weird. Everything is weird. It's a weird place, man. So anyways, just keep working on you no matter what, and just, you know, don't hide from your triggers. You know, use them as a celebration. You know, use them and try and really figure out, get to the core of who you are so you can let shit go, and you'll feel better in the long run. I'll tell you that. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.